Welcome into this episode of Coach's Corner. Jordan Woodruff with you, and good to have you along. Today's episode brought to you by Superior Seamless Guttering, and we're joined by head softball coach Jared Freeman. Coach, good to have you along as we have seen the season not just wind down for you, wind down for everybody across the state as softball is in the books for this year as they just crowned the state champions last weekend.
They did. They did. Team from our district. In fact, 3 of the 8 from our district were in the state tournament. I said before the year I thought we were in the toughest district, and I think that held up. And Mustang was able to beat Choctaw last Saturday for the state championship.
Yeah, and that's just goes to show you how tough it can be, especially this year for all of your girls. I mean, you guys had your ups, you had your downs, but I think you take a little pride in knowing that it wasn't just you were in the hardest district, so it made a difference, right?
It did. I was once the season was over, because during the season you kind of don't have time to process all that. But I was looking back at our scores and our season and just kind of doing some postseason reflection, and we finished 23-14. 9 of those losses came to state tournament teams, so we were 23-5 against teams that didn't go to the state tournament. But we played a lot of really good ball clubs this year, and we competed, and really proud of the girls for that.
Well, and that brings us to the games. Let's go back to the regional. It's crazy how it can work sometimes, and you felt like you had your day to possibly get in that winner's side of things and really feel good about the next day. But you had the defending state champs down, and ultimately just a couple of miscues here or there, which is usually how it works on your diamond sports, and all of a sudden the trickle becomes a waterfall, and you look up and you're down.
I can't name a sport, Jordan, that the team that makes more mistakes wins. It's always the team that makes fewer mistakes wins. And we just, like you said, just had an unfortunate play or two that kind of turned the tide. And I told the girls, we knew they were going to punch. We knew they were going to make their run. They're too good not to. It's just unfortunate. And again, I say this all the time. That's what great teams do, is when you crack the door for them, they kick it in. They make the most out of their extra opportunities and their extra outs. And not to take anything away from our girls, I know it's plays that we wanted to make, and we could have made, but we just, again, it's sometimes sports hurts, and not making those plays hurt, and it cost us. But we still had opportunities to make pitches and to get outs and make plays and score more runs. So it's I know every coach says this, but you win and lose as a team.
Yeah.
Never won. Again, at that time of year, those mistakes just get magnified. So
well, and what's crazy is you played Muskogee before that, you beat them, then you had to come back the next day, but. It's so demoralizing, I feel like, and you can try to coach with that, but the mentality, it is what it is. We've all been there. You have the defending state champ down, you feel like, hey, we got a chance to maybe go to state, and all of a sudden that's ripped away. Then you have to come back the next day and face a team that you have beaten and felt like you should beat, and it's just hard mentally to get up for that, isn't it?
It is. Like I said, I've tried to push, every button in front of me, play every card you've got. But again, in spite of the loss, I will say this: in 37 games, I never once questioned our effort. I never questioned the fact that we showed up to compete. We just didn't hit. We had base runners in scoring position multiple times and just didn't cash in when we had the opportunity. And again, that's the game of softball some days. But it wasn't we had good energy, we had good effort. We just lost a ball game that we wanted to win.
And one of the weird things in this regional is a 3-team regional, and it's the first time you've been a part of that, and just trying to figure out how they do anything was tough to begin with. And when they finally figured it out, it looked really good for Ponca there when they were up there on Owasso. But the 3-game regional, it kind of posed its own challenges, didn't it?
It did. It definitely changed the way you handle your pitching and your pitching decisions. All year long, we hadn't thrown Ava in both games of a doubleheader. She hadn't thrown 12 innings in one day, which she threw 12 on day one. And again, you should get advantages for being the 1 seed. You should get to be the host team and have those advantages. But it is a big advantage that Owasso had not played a game. They didn't have to pitch a single pitch to get to the winner's side, and we were playing our 8th through 14th innings of the day, and they were playing their 1st through 7th. So definitely a decided advantage, but that's what you get when you play well all season and you get the right to host. So we're in a program that doesn't make excuses and doesn't complain about things like that. That was the task in front of us, and that's what we gave it our best, and unfortunately, like you said, we came up short.
Well, that brings us now to you're always looking for the next season, and there's a lot of seniors gone off that team, and you're going to have your spurts. You want to win every year.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of it. You want to win on a high level. You want to create that, but at the same time, you have all these girls that are going to be leaving the program. You got some younger ones I know that'll eventually be coming up, but it's kind of, I wouldn't call it, I don't know if I'd say recycling, but in a way, there's going to be some challenges with some of the younger kids that you're going to have to play to try to get to that level that you want to be, right?
I'll tell you, Jordan, when we had our kind of our postseason staff meeting with my phenomenal assistant coaches, we're looking forward to the challenge. I've personally, this is about 6 seasons in a row where I feel like I've coached teams that are supposed to be good.
Yeah.
And I really, really like you said, we're going to lose 6 amazing, phenomenal young ladies and softball players, but I'm really looking forward to the challenge. I hope people doubt us. I hope people think we can't be as good, but I really like our athleticism. I think we have a lot of potential, a lot of upside, speed. I think we have a team that if we work and we work and we work, I think we're going to be better than people think. And, again, in this game, just like in baseball too, it starts and ends in the circle. And that's, to me, if you were to say what's the biggest X factor next year, where do you have to get better quicker, and that's going to be in the circle. And we're going to have 3 or 4 girls that we're going to throw out there, and KJ Johnson got a lot of good innings this year for us, and she's going to go into the year as our number 1 as a junior. But we really like Hannah Smith and Harmony Smith coming up that were 9th graders. But we're going to have to get better in the circle, and then. But I really think we're going to be okay next year.
As a coach, is it the thing you're looking forward to? Is when you get the older group, the fundamentals, you're not really coaching anymore. You're managing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of it. Is they understand. Now, there's still some coaching aspect in there, but when you get people that are younger and then they're trying to fill you out, they're trying to fill the game out. Is it more of a coaching type thing, and you look forward to that part of it?
I think so. Again, just the challenge of it, and hopefully people doubt us and say, well, you lost too much over the last 2 years, and we did. We've had some really good upperclassmen the last 2 years, but again, we've got some hardworking girls. Like I said, we've got some athletic girls, and I'll be honest, we followed the script that I've used now for the last few years, and it's ultimately, as the head coach, your play is a reflection of your ability to coach, and I will tell you, again, we struggled in areas that I didn't expect us to struggle, and that falls back on me. We made far too many errors this year. We were too hot and cold offensively, and colder more than I thought we should be, and that's my fault. But we're looking forward to kind of having a clean canvas to work with and getting to work with those girls.
And let's talk about a little bit now off season. Softball is in their off season officially for the last week or so. So I know a lot of the girls will play other sports and stuff like that. But what's your time frame? Because you're the first out during the summer. I mean, you guys get back out and you start practicing the first one. So when you're looking at what you're trying to maybe accomplish, especially when you have a lot of maybe younger girls, what are you trying to get done between now and maybe those first practices?
We did. We took off last week. I felt like a week off to just kind of clean up and just hang out and have some fun. But we're going to start today, in fact, with our off-season program. And I know this sounds like coach speak, but we're just going to break it down to the absolute fundamentals. I mean, just go back to day one of the first time you ever played and work on our feet and just work on every single little aspect and every little minor detail. And it's just back to the basics because we've got time in front of us to do that, and that's what we're going to do.
I always say people don't realize sometimes they're saying it and then knowing it, right? Mm-hmm. And most of the girls have played, they know. But there's still maybe little aspects that are small that don't click unless they do it. And if you go back to the fundamentals a lot of times, all of a sudden, they may not even know it. They know what you're saying, everything, but all of a sudden they're doing it, and it just clicks all of a sudden for them. They're like, oh, and this is going to mean a little bit better on your average. It's going to mean a little better on your ERA all of a sudden. So I've always said, going back to the fundamentals like that, it's something that for players, I don't think they understand when they're young.
Correct.
That what it does. But then there's these moments that you see as a coach where it maybe clicks for them a little bit, and all of a sudden it helps their game.
Absolutely. Like I said, we're going to really focus on defensive stuff here for the next few weeks while the weather's pretty nice, because middle of the winter when you're not out there, you get a lot of offensive work inside and the indoors. So we're going to really focus on defensive stuff, and like you said, it's we tell them your poor throws are because your feet aren't right. Your errors defensively where we don't field it clean is because of your feet, and we're really going to work on the footwork and being in the right place, in the right spot, with the right momentum and the right feet. And Coach Denoy will work really hard with them the next few weeks, and I'll work with the outfielders, and we're looking forward to the offseason.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to seeing what you can do. Like I said, this is going to be a team that nobody next year will have much expectation for, but sometimes those are the teams that can certainly surprise you the most, and we'll see if that's not going to be the case coming up next year. And like I said, a different coaching experience for you, even going back to your Morrison days that you've had maybe in quite some time, where it is going to be one of those building type things. So I think it's going to be coaches love challenges, right? And it's going to be a different type of challenge this next year.
It is, and we always say there's things you can and you can't coach, and you can't coach energy and effort and attitude. And I will say this: the 23-14 record. Somebody asked me here last week, and I said it's for one reason only. It's because they competed. Because if you looked at us statistically, you probably would have said that's not a 23-win softball team. But we found ways to win ball games late. We hung around. And they're just so competitive, and all that credit goes back to these young ladies. And I think we're going to be a competitive group again next year, and that's always the first step: is do you expect to compete? Do you expect to win? Do you hate to lose? And do you work your tail off? And I think we will.
All right, well, Coach, appreciate the time. Coach Jared Freeman with softball, and this episode of Coach's Corner been brought to you by Superior Seamless Guttering. I want to say thanks to Chris doing the editing as always, and Jordan Woodruff saying until next time for Coach's Corner. Go Cats.